Hello, I'm going to be showing you my cube collection as it is on January 7th, 2014, which is the day I made my channel, so I thought it would be appropriate to do a video of my cube collection today and compare it in the years to come. First cube I ever got was a Rubik's 3x3, and this currently has CubeSmith tiles on it because the stickers always wore out. But I got this when I was like 8 years old, and I kind of always just left it in my junk drawer until maybe about 2 years ago. I picked it up and I just decided I wanted to solve it. And after a while I learned how to solve it from the You Can Do the Rubik's Cube on Rubik's.com, and I was interested to know if there was other kind of puzzles, like 4-layered cube, 5-layered cube, and I went on the Rubik's website because at the time I had only really ever heard of Rubik's cubes. Didn't know there was any other companies, and I bought a Rubik's 4x4 and a Rubik's 5x5. Unfortunately, I have to say that that was a mistake. These things suck. They move very badly. The 4x4 is okay, but it just locks up and the pieces always kind of come out and you have to push them back in. It doesn't pop, but the pieces just get out of alignment. I don't even know how to describe it. And the 5x5 is just too loose. I took it apart once because something broke inside of it because it was very stiff, and now it's just very clunky. It's okay, but compared to like a V-Cube or something, it's terrible. Next, at this point I still only really knew about Rubik's Cubes. I got a Rubik's 2x2. Now, surprisingly, this was actually hard to get. I couldn't find it on Amazon, so I had to directly get it from the Rubik's website. This is actually a pretty good cube. I mean, I can get 15 seconds with it. Maybe if I had a LAN, I could get better times, but it's not that bad. This is their new model with tiles, so but anyway, okay. The next cube I got was at a store on the beach. Was a Void cube. Now, this cube is okay. It's interesting to solve, although I can never remember the parity algorithm. Not that it's even that hard, but it's just not a cube I solve very much. But this cube cost me like $30. And to think that I also could have done like a V-Cube 5 or, like a ShengShou 7x7 for that is pretty sad, because this cube is really not worth $30. It's a decent cube, but I'm sure you can get better Void cubes for less than $30. But I have it anyway, so, now that I have it, might as well keep it. Now, for Christmas in, I think, 2012, I got 3 new puzzles. The first of which was a Square One, which is like a shape-shifting puzzle. And this cube, it's always been a challenge for me. I've never really been able to solve it. It's an interesting puzzle. It's very unique. I don't have anything really like it. Closest thing I do is a Rubik's Tower cube because it shapeshifts, but I really don't have anything else like this that's like a shape-shifting cube, like an Axis cube or anything. So it's cool to have a cube that's pretty unique, like this. The next one I got is actually one of my favorite cubes, is my MF8 Megaminx. Now, this did not turn well at first, but once I loosened it up and lubricated it, it actually turns very well. It also came with tiles, so I don't have to worry about the stickers rubbing off. And this is also a cool one because when everybody looks at it, they think it's like the hardest puzzle ever compared to the Rubik's Cube, but it's actually really just as easy. If you know how to solve a Rubik's Cube, you pretty much should know how to solve this if you can just think outside the box. The next one is a Pyraminx. I don't solve this too much mostly because of how relatively simple it is, although I can't speed solve it. So I don't really practice times. I just, solve it and it's not that hard. But, it is a pretty good turning puzzle. This is a QJ Pyraminx. It also came with tiles, which I like because I don't like rubbing off stickers. And, this is an okay puzzle. I don't solve it that much, but it's still good to have around because I like to collect platonic solids, like the dodecahedron. And my next puzzle, the octahedron. Now this is the one puzzle of mine that I have absolutely no idea how to solve. There are a few puzzles of mine that I don't know exactly how to solve. Like for example the 6x6, I'm not exactly certain on how to do like some of the edge pairing for the last two edges, but pretty much I can solve it. The octahedron, I have no idea where to start. I don't know what it is, I don't know if I'm just not thinking right, or if it really is that hard, but I really don't play with it because I have absolutely no idea how to solve it, and because it's such a rare puzzle, I can't find any tutorials to lead me in the right direction. And the next one is a Shengshou 6x6. Now at this point, I did know about other companies, obviously, but I did not know that Shengshou is a knockoff company, so I bought this just because it was cheap. And I gotta say, it is very good quality. I wouldn't say it's any better than the V-Cubes, but, you know, certainly was worth the price, although I wouldn't recommend buying it because it is a knockoff, but, you know, can't help but say it is a very good cube. The next one I got was this Rubik's keychain from my aunt, who just didn't want it. She just gave it to me because she didn't want it, and, you know, it's not very good turning, but I guess that's not really the point of it because it's very small. And, you know, I solved this thing in like 2 minutes because you can't really do algorithms properly on it, but, you know, it's a decent puzzle, and you know, I lubricated it, so it's actually not too bad, but you don't really solve it that much. If you want to solve a 3x3, you might as well use a Zanji. Now this is a custom-made 1x1. At the time I had 2x2 through 6x6, so I wanted a 1x1 to complete the set, and I made it using Me, Myself, and Pi's tutorial out of Legos, and it actually came out pretty well. I mean, obviously I don't play with it because you can't really turn it, but, you know, it's very good for the collection. Now, because I enjoyed making the 1x1, I wanted to make a few more puzzles, so I made Me, Myself, and Pi's 1x1x2, which is just made out of Legos. If you want to go make it, just go to his tutorial. And a 2x2x1, which is made by Red KB's tutorial. Now this is actually made out of 4 of these, with one of their core in the middle. Again, I'm not going to explain how to make it because you can just watch Red KB's tutorial. But the pack I got was like $3 for 5 of these, and I had an extra one. Now, this is a keychain 2x2. It's a piece of crap, but, you know, I wasn't just going to throw it away. So, you know, it's alright, I guess. The next cube I got is kind of weird. It's a, I went to M&M World in New York and got this M&M Super Cube. Now, when I first got this barely turned. But I did sand some of the internal pieces down so it would move better, and I lubricated it, and it actually turns pretty well now for a store-bought cube. The only problem is the red side does turn better than the other sides, but the red side pops because the center cap is loose, so every so often it pops. But I don't really solve this very much. You know, if I am going to solve a super cube, I'll pick this one up, but I don't really solve a super cube that much. Now, the next set of puzzles I got into were the V-Cubes. Now, I'd always heard about the V-Cubes, but I never really wanted to spend that much money. But one day, I was on vacation, I just decided to put the money into a V-Cube 3. And I was pretty satisfied with the quality, and I like how it looked. So, then I got for my birthday a V-Cube 7 and a V-Cube 2. Now the V-Cube 2 is actually kind of locky, and I've heard that's just the pillowed version, and the square version is fine. V-Cube 7 is very good, although it was $50, but it is certainly worth the price if you want a good 7x7. I also got the V-Cube 4, which is not the best 4x4 out there, but it is way, way better than the Rubik's 4x4. So, I mostly got this for collection purposes, but it's actually a pretty good speed cube, too. The next puzzle I got was shown in one of my previous videos of Dollar Store Mods, is my family cube. basically just has all of our faces on it, and when you turn, or everybody in my family's face on it, and when you turn the pieces, it can create combinations of our faces. And if you want to see more on this cube, you can go to my video about my dollar store cube sticker month. Now, for Christmas this year, Christmas 2013, I got 4 different cubes, plus money for a few more that are coming in the mail. The first one I got was an X cube. Now, at first I thought this was going to be, like, impossible. I was never going to be able to solve it, but it's actually not that difficult to solve. But I think it's just at the right difficulty, that it's not too easy, but it's not too hard, so I actually enjoy solving this a lot. And it's also very unique. I've heard it's similar to a 3x3x5, but I don't own that, so to me it's pretty unique. And it does shapeshift. Okay, speaking of shape-shifting puzzles, here's a 2x4 tower cube from Rubik's, and this is actually a pretty well-moving cube. It's probably the best turning cube from Rubik's that I have besides the 2x2. And I didn't even lubricate this. Now, the one problem I have with this cube is it does not have the right color scheme. It has white and blue opposite and green and yellow opposite. I don't know why they decided to do that, but I'm trying to find replacement stickers for it, but I can't find a Tower Cube stickers anywhere. If anybody knows where I can get those, please leave me a link in the comments. And again, I got this because of my 2 to the N series cuboids. There's a video on that on my channel also. Now, my grandparents gave this to me. I finally had a very good 3x3 to play with. I got my first sub 50 solve and my first sub 45 solve, and before I was getting like minute averages with my old cubes, but this has sped up my time a lot, partially because I've started learning OLL and PLL, but this is a very good cube. The only problem I have with it is it does pop a lot, but I've reduced the tensions, and I've tightened the tensions a bit, and that doesn't happen as much, so it's pretty good. Now, there is some of the pieces come out a little bit, like the green-orange. I don't think you can see it, but the green-orange is pretty, it's coming off a little bit. But, you know, I can push it back in. It doesn't really affect the solving that much. But this is a very good cube, as most of you may know. Now, the next cube I got was a Kilominx, or actually a Flower Minx. Kilominx is not a very good name for it because all the minxes have centers, and the 4x4 and 6x6 analogs of the Minx series are called like Master Kilominx and Elite Kilominx instead of Gigaminx or Terraminx. But yeah, the Flower Minx, this is a cool puzzle. It's very good looking. However, this was like $40, and compared to the like Mega Minx that I have, which both of these were actually gifts, so it doesn't affect me, but this was like $12, and this was $40. And this is a cool cube to have, and I'm glad I have it, but I don't think it's worth the price. Like, if you're using your own money, I would not spend $40 on it. I mean, I'm very glad I have it, but, you know, if I were you, I'd save your money for something else. Not because it's not a good cube or a fun cube, I like it a lot, but it is pretty expensive. And the last one, also in my dollar store cube video, is the Reuben King cube, which I made out of a dollar store cube, and it just basically has diagonals on each face centered at one corner. And I mean, I don't solve this cube that much, because it's pretty slow moving. It is on a dollar store cube, but it's an interesting solve every so often. And as of now, that is my cube collection. Thanks for watching.